Welcome to the Not So Kind Regards podcast. I'm Maddy Birdcage.
And I'm Caroline Moss.
We are done with the digital fluff and pleasantries.
And we're here to talk straight about brand building, digital marketing, and personal growth.
Welcome back to the Not So Kind Regards podcast. And today I am joined not just by Caroline, but also by Maria, both our senior strategists here at Birdcage. Now, whilst Caroline's role is definitely more around mentoring and the school, Maria's role is focused around the agency and strategy work. So welcome to the podcast, Maria.
Thanks for having me.
So I know Caroline has some very interesting questions, which I'm really excited to hear the answers to, which go deep into Maria's 17 years of experience. And we actually just worked out before we hit record, there's almost 50 years of marketing experience sitting on these couches right now.
How old does that make everyone feel?
I feel like if you say there's 50 years of collective marketing experience on this couch, you'd expect more grey hair, but alas.
Definitely don't color it.
No.
All natural.
I do have grey hair.
I do too.
Okay.
We can be in denial.
Yeah, absolutely. We're too pretty to have that much experience. Okay, I'm going to shut up now and let Caroline go and dive into Maria's very interesting brain.
Thanks, Maddy. So, hello, Maria. Welcome.
Hi, Caroline.
Thanks for being on the podcast with us.
Thanks for having me.
I would love for you to tell us a little bit about your 17 years of experience and kind of what turned you on to marketing and what you've done in those 17 years.
Okay, so what initially got me interested in marketing was really the psychology of how consumers act. So when I went to university, I did a lot of HR, which I really thrived in. And that's when I realized that I really loved understanding the psychology behind why people buy. And that's really just so that when I talk to clients that you're actually getting results.
So you spend time in HR, and HR is really focused on people.
Yes.
And that you somehow connected those dots between HR and marketing is where you wanted to go?
Yeah, so I noticed that I really love talking to clients and talking to people, which I have found in the last fair few years that that's not a common trait to have, that not many people enjoy that.
I definitely have to say you are the first person we've had in the agency who really, truly shines speaking to clients. I think we're all pretty good at it, but you take it to a whole nother level.
Yes, well, I love that Coco Chanel quote. In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. So I feel like I've channeled that.
I love that. So you are not a typical millennial who would rather get like an email or a text. You like picking up the phone.
I know. I actually prefer going and speaking to them face to face, not even the phone.
Which makes it hard considering our clients are all over the world.
That's also what made me interested in marketing, of the fact that you can go and see all these different clients, but all these different industries that I learnt about. So I learnt about car sales yards, retail, mining, engineering, so many diverse industries, which it kept my brain interested all the time because I was learning new things all the time and how to market to different audiences.
Yeah, I definitely love that as well. Like for someone like me, I just would start a business every week if I could, or I can just help other people start their business.
Yeah. And also not always being just tied to your desk as well, that you go and you can see in real life as well the results that they were getting and that customers were coming through their doors and that their business was flourishing, and you were a part of their business as well.
I love that. And yeah, you definitely work with so many different industries now with Birdcage as well. I mean, we all do. So I hope that keeps that muscle strong.
Definitely. So I'm still in marketing.
So what have you seen as some of the biggest shifts in marketing like over the past 17 years?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I've seen so many. I bought in my university e-marketing book a few months ago to Maddy. It's the tiniest little teeny weeny book that I've ever seen. And that was the extent of digital marketing, e-marketing when I went to university. So obviously based from then to now, if you saw a textbook for digital marketing now, it wouldn't be one textbook. There would be multiple. It would be categorized, and it would probably be your entire module. So that's how it's changed. So
I've got a degree now.
Yeah. So I've worked in a lot of traditional medias as well, and although they had their place, I saw newspapers, I saw radio, I saw TV drop all to subscriptions and to streaming online. So I saw, like, I worked in newspapers for 5 years, and we never thought that that would kind of ever change to an online subscription, but I saw that come to fruition. I also saw radio drop, but then I saw radio pick back up after all of that. TV's always kind of been there, but I saw the drop in that as well. So obviously now everything is more so all just digital marketing.
Not to mention like the return that you get on those platforms. It is so expensive to advertise on TV, on radio, versus anyone can run like a Meta ads campaign and get money back.
I feel like people take that for granted.
Do you know what I feel like is the biggest selling point of digital though? And I used to do this when I started from traditional and transitioning them into digital, traditional to digital, was the fact that you could actually, so we used to walk into our clients and be like, okay, so you don't feel like you got results. How did you track this? And their face would just be blank. What do you mean? And I'm like, what do you mean? Haven't you been tracking this? So obviously I learned from that, and I started talking to my clients about, you need to be tracking this. We need to know if it's working, and gave them tools to do so. But when I was selling digital, it was like, I can give you data to show you how we can do this better.
Again, I feel like that's something people take for granted. Like, I'm specifically imagining right now these like small business owners who spend $50 on a Facebook ad and then say, oh, it didn't work for my business. The fact that you could even go and do that and get in front of a few hundred people that your $50 investment may have done is a freaking miracle.
Yeah, and the reach you probably would have got for that $50 probably could have mirrored the reach you would have gotten on TV. But for some reason, on TV, like, it boosts our ego, and you spend so much more money.
Do you know what I find really interesting? The rates for these traditional medias are still very much, very, very similar to when I was working in them.
Just astronomical.
But the circulation and the viewing times are way lower.
You know why I think that is? There's still agencies that prioritize those formats. I was speaking with a prospective client who he's in insurance as his day job, but he's actually launched, he calls it a side hustle. It's pretty legit. But he was telling me about how he's engaged 3 separate agencies for different things, but he feels they're all way too safe. You know, they say they do social media marketing, but what they're really just doing is TV marketing and putting it on social media. And the reason why he's reached out to us and why we're having a second meeting is because he feels as though we get social, that we understand it. And so I feel like these agencies...
I feel like it's because regional towns and small towns, they are still sticking to what they know, but they're trying to get into that digital realm, but they don't actually know what that means yet.
So I look at capital cities though, and they're still the big agencies, Clemengers, Leo, Burdett, like all of just, I can't remember any of the big agencies anymore. That's how long I'm out of the Sydney game. But they're all still pushing TVC, radio, and then their digital advertising is advertising banners on news sites.
Ew.
Yeah, which is what I was doing when I was still working down in Sydney 10, 11 years ago.
That's what I was doing back in 8 years ago when APA News just started selling digital.
Exactly. And they're still doing it, and they're charging a fucked up amount, and people are paying a fucked up amount because they are just doing what the people before them, when you're in big corporate, you don't want to ruffle feathers because if it goes wrong, that's your fault.
Yeah.
So instead, it's easier just to do what's always been done, even if it doesn't get results. And the agencies are just following suit because
they're getting paid.
They're getting paid. Everyone's just doing what's always been done because it's the safe thing to do, when the benefit is, if you're working with an agency like ours,
the only reason that's ever going to change is if the managers above them go and upskill themselves to be like, hey, we need to really implement new ideas and new concepts here.
And having way less red tape for your marketing teams to go and create content, and understanding, your what's a no-go and what's safe, and just trusting that people are going to do what's
I love the fact to hear that the crazier we get, the better it is. The more creative you are, the better.
Especially with platforms like TikTok. I love seeing big brands just do things that you're like, that was so random, but it was so good.
Like Red Bull is so good at it. When they made someone parachute from space.
Yeah, watch that.
It's
Taco.
It's like there'd be accountants saying, what was the direct ROI from that? You can't quantify that.
No.
But that has cemented Red Bull as the brand. No one wants to drink Red Bull. It tastes like shit, but people do, because it's like that brand that represents all of those things.
They're the OG in native marketing, and we were trying to understand that term like 10 years ago when I was in like blog content marketing.
Yeah.
And just to see like that's what it is. It's like you don't know you're being advertised to and you're enjoying a piece of content, but you're also seeing the brand, associating all these feelings with that brand, creating trust with the brand.
So if you're the marketing manager or leader of a bigger corporate, ditch your tradition. You know, they're calling it legacy marketing now, which I love. Legacy, that means it's old.
Yeah.
Stop it, because it's old and it's making you old and it's making everyone else old, and take some fucking risks. Put your big boy or big girl pants on, take some risks, work with us even, and start doing social marketing and digital marketing the way that it can be used. And you'll also save millions of dollars and make millions of dollars.
And if you want to still play it safe, keep some room in the budget to try new things. Like do your TV ad and then just keep like 10 grand in your budget to go test. Imagine what you can, how much content you can create for socials with 10 grand.
We could make that stretch.
Yeah. Versus like 100K you drop for like 3 months of TV advertising that maybe is reaching your target audience, maybe not.
Do you know what? It's funner to create too.
So much more fun.
Fun to create, fun to watch, fun for your audience.
Yeah.
So Maria, I guess with your 17 years of experience in marketing, we're not going to say that's a long time. But you definitely
legacy.
have some mastery.
We're not legacy.
Yeah, exactly. What do you see as some of the biggest differences in your experience and in previous roles than when you came to Birdcage and you started working with our approach? Because Maria's been here. How long have you been at Birdcage? Is it a year?
Yeah.
Not
7
even a year.
months.
7 months.
I've been trying to get her for like 4 years, I'd say.
So that's amazing. So yeah, you feel like you've been part of the team forever. Yeah. So what really surprised you about the way we do things here?
Well, I feel like every agency does things a little bit differently. And I feel like I had a lot of knowledge of how people do them. Here was completely different. And I said to Maddy, I was like, I know how to do the work. I just need to know how you do the work. And then, but understanding the audience so in depth, even to the point where you feel like you can actually predict their next move, was what really attracted me back into marketing. Because to be honest, I didn't actually think I was going to come back into marketing. And my passion got reignited here when I started looking at the audience in a deeper level, because as I said before, I love the psychology of consumers, and that's what we do here. So like if you understand your audience, your message is going to resonate with them so much deeper. So that's what I really love. And also I work with really, really intelligent women. So I feel like that vibe is also great.
So most of your day-to-day is strategies here, like writing strategies for our clients. I recall when you first started working for Birdcage, you weren't very excited about the idea of completing strategies for our clients. How did that shift? Because now I think you love it. Yeah, you look like you love it.
I do definitely love it. And if you had told me that 6 months ago, that was going to be my entire job, well, not my entire job, but biggest portion to write strategies, I would have been like, no way, that's so boring. I'm not doing that. Because I realized earlier on that I really need to have that client interaction and I need to feel like I'm making a difference in people's lives. That's the biggest thing for me. Also going and seeing people face to face and having that client connection is what really drives me and what I love. So when I did the first one, I was like, okay, I did one. Yeah, I love like how it all connects. It's great. It's great work, but I don't want to do any more. And then the more and more I got into them, I just like, I dream of it. I think of it. I'm like inside the client's business. And then when I come up on camera, and I think that if you I know that if you spoke to my clients that I have now, that I've even had people say, I can really see that you love your job. You are so passionate about this. And I feel like that.
Look at my entire arm.
Like if you show up and you're passionate about someone's business as much as they are, they can feel that. And so as obviously our work reflects that as well. But yeah, so that's why I love it. I love the client interaction and I love the psychology behind it.
I love that. And I know you are a bit of a client whisperer. You treat all of our clients like VIPs and you have a lot to teach all of us in the agency your ways. Can you tell us a bit about your approach with clients and give some tips to the marketers in our audience for dealing with sticky situations?
Sure. So I never actually thought that I was a client whisperer. I was like, oh, it's easy. I just thought it was an easy skill to have, but I realized that it's not. Clients just want to be listened to. They just want you to listen to them and hear what they have to say. Whether it's a success or it's not a success, if you're listening to exactly what they're saying, they're going to respect that. And then also, I know this is a bit controversial, but a lot of people think that you shouldn't be talking personal to your clients. Like, don't ask them about their weekend. Don't ask them about their dog, their kids, because that's wasting time. Well, that's what builds trust with your clients. And it actually makes them feel like you care about them and their business. So if you're doing that, then you're going to build deeper connections with your clients.
Basically, treat them like people.
Correct.
Funny, that recurring theme about humans.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think we forget that they are still humans.
That is actually something I was thinking about when we were preparing for this interview, is that before I went on maternity leave, Maddy made it really clear to everyone in the agency that it is so important that we are not another agency that just bashes their clients, that thinks they're always in the wrong. And I feel like that was a huge cultural shift within the agency. And even though most of that team is no longer here, it's like carried through to all new staff and the overall vibe in the agency.
Yeah, there was a period when we were much bigger. Caroline was on maternity leave when I fired everyone. I called her on my way into work and I was like, oh no, I think I'd already done half of them, but I called her being like, just letting you know, this is what's happening in case anyone tells you. You've still got a job though, so don't worry about it.
I was like, what?
But the culture was terrible. Like, it wasn't even just from my perspective, it didn't feel good, but it was also, we did have a lot of clients that were red flag clients that we were just taking on because we had to pay the bills. I'm not saying people didn't care about clients. We definitely still did. I don't know. How could you explain it?
It's just the easy thing to pretend like we weren't in, we had nothing to do with, like, we weren't in the blame.
Yeah.
It's the easy thing to say, oh, it's their fault. And we don't try to completely carry our clients' businesses, but we do try to meet them halfway and go, I'm going to do everything I can. I trust that you're doing everything you can. And we have that mutual trust and respect now.
Yeah. And the people that always were like that, you know, Ebony's like that. Caroline's always like that. Jess has always been like that. Like, they're still the ones with the jobs here, you know, so it's not like everyone had that frame of mind. There was this groundswell I could feel of people, wanting to skip out on responsibility, and I needed to stop it, and so I did. My old traditional ways of me, when I deal with a client dispute, I pick up the phone straight away. Yeah,
as uncomfortable as it can be, but a lot of my clients have become my friends over the years. So because I've got that connection with them, I can pick up the phone and say, what's going on? How can we fix this? Or what's happening here? Whether you have to part ways or whatever it may be, I feel like that phone call is appreciated. Yes, I don't think this is a surprise, but obviously AI is going to become more prevalent. At the moment, it's in its like infant stage of growing. I think that's just going to become more and more so. As you would see, Instagram has it connected now when you're searching for things. So that's just going to keep happening. But I do feel like consumers are going to have more of a say into what content they are going to allow to accept and what they want to be consuming. So I think it's really, really even more important to be understanding who your audience is. So you're creating content that they actually want to watch.
That's showing up in their feeds and
like they want to sign up to say, I want to watch your stuff.
Awesome. So we just have some rapid fire random questions for you, Maria, at the end here.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So Maria is a bit of a fashionista in the office. She's a style icon. So what's your number one style tip for 2024?
Okay, so there's so many that I found this really hard. So I feel like be sophisticated, but add a little bit of edge to it. So if it's a big studded belt or if it's really like sexy stockings, something like that, it's like play it a little bit safe, but then show your element of edge to it.
Spice it up.
Yes.
Do you have a hidden talent?
Can bake.
Can bake.
Can bake. Yes.
Before I got Maria as our senior strategist, she actually was my nanny for like 2 months or something like that. Only her sister was our full-time nanny, who then went off and had her baby. And I was kind of in this in-between spot, and typical Maddy fashion, didn't organize anything because I must have known subconsciously that Maria was going to want to take a break from what she was currently doing. And she then looked after my daughter for me for a couple of months. And the baked goods that got sent home, let me tell you.
Amazing.
And they were dairy-free. So
And
that's
she
hard to
thought
make
no
them
one
taste
was
good.
eating them because they were like all gone, like all packed up. And she's like, oh, I'm not going to bake it. And we're like, we ate the whole thing.
Yeah, I thought they're just waiting for them to like go gross and throw them in the bin. And
Nah,
they're like,
we were eating
oh,
some.
no, we want some.
Yeah. It was delicious.
What is your favorite social media platform?
I do love TikTok.
You do?
For the inspiration. I get a lot of inspiration and yeah, I love it.
One skill you'd love to learn?
I want to learn more about consumer psychology. It's really like everything I look at, I'm like, I just want to understand that even more in depth.
Kind of a never
I don't know
ending.
too many marketers who understand it that well.
Well, there's no research into it, really. Like the only real consumer psychology books and everything that I know about is the Science of Shopping by
And we spoke about that on an aeroplane and you couldn't shut us up for the hour.
But that was all to do with in-person shopping. But there's no one doing it online. I've always said I'm going to do my doctorate. I'm going to be Dr. Birdcage. But I feel like if I do, it's going to be on that. It's going to be on.
Or just do the research, but don't pay for the degree and
What's the point of that?
write the book.
Nah, I only do degrees to get the certificate at the end.
So Maria, what would your perfect day look like?
Oh, so my perfect day would be on a deserted island.
Writing strategies.
No, with canapes and mocktails and house music and
Mocktails or cocktails?
mocktails because it would be with my family. And I don't really drink with my family because I want to take in every moment. So that would be obviously not, that's not a work day. This is my downtime day.
Yeah.
Be my perfect day.
I love that. That's so sweet. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Maria.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Back to Strategist.
See you in the office.
See you upstairs.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Not So Kind Regards podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, we would really appreciate if you left a review on whatever streaming platform you are using. It helps us to grow as a brand new podcast and to help many more business owners and content creators reach their goals, just like we hope this brought you one step closer to yours. Remember, connect with us on TikTok at Maddy Birdcage and at Birdcage Marketing, and the same handles on Instagram again. And if you really want to learn how to work with us, make sure you head to our website and book a call. We would love to speak with you.